Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Boy and Girl Thing. I'm Kit Smith, and I'm the author of the book, Let's Meet Our Match, Your Complete Guide to Success in the World of Internet Dating. And tagging along, as always, on my left, bringing up the rear.
You are so funny. I'm Cece Schatz, and I am the douanier of divorce.
No, you're not the douanier.
Oh, shoot. Did I say it wrong again?
Yes.
Douanier.
No. Doyen.
Doyen. I'm the doyen.
After all this time.
I don't know why I get that messed up, but anyhow, I am a mentor, and I help people travel through divorce recovery through to transition of dating and actually dating. And I'm really a connector. I am the founder of Going Solo Network, and I'm really excited to be here tonight. We've got a really cool subject we're going to talk about.
Yes, we are, and
we are on the boy and girl thing.
And of course, we're going to hint at, drop some subtle hints along the way about a great project that we're going to be launching, hopefully, finally, within the next couple of weeks. And we want you all to know about that too. So without any further ado, let's jump into our topic tonight. And that's a little bit about baby boomer relationships.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about this in other shows. We kind of like just slowly kind of move through it. And I thought it was very important because our lives are changing. And so we've made a shift. You know, when we were younger, we started dating. Hey, Sylvia. Hey, Dee Dee. It's nice to see you. We thought dating should be done in a particular way. And we thought relationships should be formed in a particular way because we were looking for families. We were looking for long-term relationships, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
But
are you honestly doing that?
At this point in my life,
okay, wait a minute. It's a deep subject. I didn't mean to get into it.
At this
Wait,
point,
stop! But no, honestly, because I think it's really good that because we talk about this a lot, you know, because Kit and I are friends and we talk about it. We talk about relationships. We talk about commitment, dating, and we do it all the time because we're in the business. And so,
not just that. I mean, we were having a conversation before we even started tonight. Besides,
you guys don't want
besides having what you would call a professional relationship, well, Cece and I are also very close friends. So we've developed a wonderful friendship, and I can't imagine a better partner to be in business with than her. And this is, you know, this really helps when we have to make decisions or choices or directions that we want to go in. It helps that we're also great friends. And one of the things that we've discussed about is how our lives have changed as we've gotten older. Our expectations.
Although you are older than I am.
Not by much, okay? Not by much. Look at this. Does this look old to you?
Does this look old? Do I look
old?
No.
No.
We're not old. We are just having fun.
Chronologically, you might say, you know, somebody 25 years old might look at us and go, yeah, you're old.
Yeah, you know what? That's a funny story. My daughter told me when I was 25, she says to me, oh, you got all mad at me and everything. She goes, oh, you're just middle-aged. I said, so when do you think I'm going to die? If I'm middle-aged now, so am I going to die at 50? I mean, come on, girl. I'm going to live a long time. But I thought that was funny. But, you know, we came across this article, which really triggered it, because we've been talking about it a lot, about when we're older, we look at relationships differently, and they're important to us in different reasons, different ways. And so when this article came up, I thought, oh my gosh, here it is. You know, they have done a survey in a retired community of over 55 people, aged people, and they came up with certain things. So the title of it is actually Single Baby Boomers Love Dating and Their Freedom, which I thought was, wow, really, really interesting. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about it. And so I'll start. It said singles and ready to mingle would be appropriate phrase for the post of 50-year-old men and women.
Meaning beyond 50.
Yeah, 50 and over. So
Yes.
a man said more than half, 56% of the single baby boomers surveyed said that they were open to an idea of dating, while 45% said they already were dating.
Well, that combined is almost like 100% right there. That
Mm-hmm.
in one way or another, they're either thinking about it or they're already doing it. Or,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So that I think that's promising in
By
itself.
the way, ladies, I'm still in the thinking about it stage. I'm not in the 45% that says they're already dating. No.
Okay. So if there was a hot woman, you'd be out there dating. You know that, but you'd be like, "Ooh, wow, do that."
Yeah.
It also says they're all always interested in companionship and dating, and so I think that's the key is the companionship.
Yes.
They're looking for someone.
Yes.
And I remember I dated this guy one time, and I was so offended. I will share with you that I was terribly offended because he said to me that I said, "What are you looking for?" Well, what is it that you want? And he said, "I want companionship." I said, "Get a dog. Go get yourself a pet." Because I was looking for commitment. Hey, Janice, it's nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. You know what? We've got such loyal listeners, and I want to tell you how much we appreciate you guys joining us. We had a glitch with our software that we normally are on, so we just kind of went right for it and did a live
broadcast. This is working great.
Right, but we can't bring a guest in this way. That's what our difficulty is. So we just don't happen to have a guest tonight, so we thought we'd talk about this particular subject. We are moving through boy and girl friend and going right into going solo with Cece, so that way we can combine the show again, because it's kind of fun doing that. And I like the subject because I thought, wow, this is really very relevant, not only to what you and I do in business, but to our own lives.
No question about it. And on top of that, we comprise the highest percentage of the population in general.
Yeah, I think it did say something like that
We're
in the article.
We're a huge bubble in the population as far as percentage goes.
Yeah. Let's see where we're at. It says it said here, people want to be around people like themselves. They want to share their experiences with each other, no matter what their age is, which is so very true. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are when you're dating. We do want to share our experiences with other people, and other people of the opposite sex, which is very important to us. One thing I have learned being in the divorce recovery and helping those through divorce, what I found is that both sexes crave the kinship, I would say, being able to be with the opposite sex. It doesn't necessarily mean that they want to have sex with them. They desire to be with the opposite sex. So they miss that for some reason. And I don't know what exactly that is, if it's a chemical or something that we share as humans, that we get something from that.
I think one of the things I think is we want to know that we matter to somebody.
That's true.
That A, we matter in general, and then B, that we matter to somebody specific.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it. I don't think I think there's very few people at this stage of our lives that want to wander aimlessly through the rest of their lives. Companionship is very powerful. The desire for it is extremely powerful, but we now have a different view of it, or what the structure of that companionship is as we've gotten to this stage of our lives.
Absolutely, and that's what they were saying here in this article. It says, but sharing their lives together doesn't necessarily mean another trip down the aisle. According to the survey, 521 single boomers aged 50 and older only 11% of the single boomers said they wanted to remarry.
Right.
That's a lot. That
Yeah.
makes a huge difference. And I know that I myself, through my transition of dating, have struggled tremendously. And I feel bad for, the men that I've had in my life, because I think they didn't really want to be in that kind of relationship. They didn't really want to remarry or be that. They wanted a committed relationship with me. They certainly didn't want me going with any other man. And they, of course, were faithful to me, but they weren't able to go forward. And because they weren't able to go forward, I kept thinking they didn't care for me, But now I'm starting to understand that it's really, it really makes no difference, I think, as we get older, that word being married. You can still be in a fully developed, committed relationship without having that marriage thing. And I love this because it said freedom, and it allows you to be with someone by choice. Can you imagine how beautiful that is, to be with someone by absolute choice? I think Goldie Hawn got it right when she was, and the
other thing too, we also, going back to the companionship thing, activities. Okay, we most of us now, and certainly me in particular.
Okay, you and I are very opposite from each other. So
I'm done with the heavy lifting of my life. The struggle to make a living, make ends meet, a household, all those things. I'm kind of done. I don't have to worry about them anymore. And so now it's like, well, what activities would I like to be interested in? What would I like to do? So
very true. Very true.
So, consequently, it's my priorities have changed. Am I looking for someone that's going to create a wonderful domestic life, a home every single day, meals on the table, clothes clean?
Is that what you want?
Well,
yeah, because that's the way the guys are. You still look back on the relationships of your parents or the relationships of your past, and you still want that thing. I think it's pretty doggone sexy to have a guy cooking in the kitchen.
Well, this guy can cook. Woo-hoo. This guy can cook. And
the apron looks just as sexy on you than it does on me.
It even looks sexier when I lift it up.
Could get burnt, so you need to be careful.
No, I don't need someone to take care of me. It's.
But okay, back it up, because there are still men that do want that. They do want that nurturing side of a woman. They do want that. But the thing is, you can't have everything. You have to have a bit of a balance. And what I liked about this article is that it did show that what's happening is that singles today, baby boomer singles today, are carving out a new balance of relationships. They're carving out something that's very new, and that's a workable thing for people that are over 50. So I think it's a very interesting.
If there was a way for me to summarize the type of person that I would like to have in my life,
we would be here all night.
it would be my buddy.
Yeah, that's and you're very sweet, and I give him a hard time all the time.
And she loves giving me a hard time all the time.
But he's a sweetheart, and you know what? You are right with that, because you truly are looking. I mean, you and I are friends, and I know this, and you are looking for your best friend,
my buddy.
Yeah, you're looking for someone like that. But if she can cook for you and clean for you, you won't say no.
No.
What
I would is someone to, if it came down to a shared cohabitation, we decided to live together.
Well, this article is saying opposite of that. It's saying that people are deciding not to live together.
Right, I've seen that too.
They're saying that they like the freedom of being able to be together when they want to be, and then separate when they want to be. Well, it says right here, let's go back with it. It said 81% of those surveyed said the best part of being single was having the freedom to do whatever they want, whenever they want. Women said the thing they enjoyed most about being single was not having to clean up after someone else. 34%, while men, so 34% of them said that, while men noted they liked having the time and the freedom to engage in hobbies and social activities they didn't get to do in their past. So the thing is, it's like men were working, they weren't able to do a lot of stuff, and they got chewed out because they weren't home with the family when they were out doing golf and things that they truly enjoy. So now they're single and they're saying, gosh, I want to be able to go out and play golf when I want to enjoy those things. And the women are saying, you know what, I have raised a family. I have cleaned and washed dishes more than I ever want to in my life. Right.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be having to take care of someone. Now there's a difference between
it even
being with someone.
It even goes to the point where many of the ladies that I have met in this age bracket are you're kind of looking at a positive ending to it. A lot of times their attitude is, I did all of those things and look where the hell it got me.
Well, then they're not going to meet someone that they're going to be compatible with.
They were wonderful wives. They were wonderful
you always
mothers.
go to the negative. We always go there.
Yeah, Susie
I'm trying to stay on the positive.
Sunshine over here.
See, this is what the show Boy and Girl's about. It's his mindset and my mindset. I'm going for the positive. He's going to shoot it down every time. You're so funny. So, but anyhow, you are right in the circle.
Okay, be careful what you're saying.
But you are right. What are you guys saying out there? You guys saying he's right? What do you say?
Yes.
Hey?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it goes on, and this I thought was interesting because I do a lot of divorce, support, and it said the findings reflect the demographic shift owing in part to boomers' rising divorce rate. More than 50% boomers are more likely than their parents' generation to experience divorce, to be currently divorced, and to remain unmarried in midlife. So, I mean, that is really a tough statement that 50% of boomers out there are getting divorced. And it said now more midlifers may choose to remain single or live on their own with their new partners over getting married again. So they are looking to, for instance, I have a very good friend of mine that they didn't want to get married, but they had a commitment ceremony where they did everything just like a married couple would do, and they made a commitment to each other, and they gave rings to each other, and they did a commitment.
They became exclusive?
Well, they were exclusive beforehand, but they made that commitment, that to the world commitment that I am going to share the rest of my life with you. They made that commitment to each other. But they didn't want, for some reason, they felt like they needed the freedom to not do the actual marriage, And it works for them. They are a wonderful, fantastic, loving couple.
The actual marriage, for, excuse me, but for lack of a better term, becomes more of a business. When you have a license, and then you have joint, and then you have, all of these other elements, the legal entanglements of becoming married, that maybe coming out of a previous marriage, it's like, I don't ever want to go through that again. Okay, so you can create like what you're referring to as, I'm emotionally committed to you for the rest of my life, but I'm not walking up the aisle with you because I don't want the legal entanglements.
Well, I don't know what their reasonings were, but I did like the fact that it's a choice that they're together, and they are going to stay together. And I thought, there's something said for that. It's like, I choose you, and all women want to be chosen. We all do. When we're dating, we want the man to choose us. We want him to. You
want a little pursuit.
Absolutely, we want him to
chase after us. Yeah.
We I don't know. We're still a little bit the caveman thing.
That's part of our biology and our genetics.
I know.
Yeah.
So it makes dating a little bit, especially when we're older, a little bit
But
different.
the flip side to that, my dear,
Uh-oh.
is
Here we go again.
I like living in this age,
Mhm.
especially having gone through the 60s as an adult.
Uh-oh.
Well, when the role of women completely
Yes.
changed.
Yeah.
And now it's perfectly okay if the women want to pursue. Am I right or wrong?
Well, Bruce
acceptable.
Starr would beg to differ on that one.
Well,
and he's coming up right after this. We are going to go switch on back and do the Be Live TV.
I love Bruce to death, but this is one place where I can't.
Okay, I think Bruce, I love Bruce.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I think he's, one of the most awesome men and really wonderful person as far as helping those be able to get out of the entanglement of their emotions and start building their lives, start building their lives in a relationship. And so bringing that together. But I think his point of view is that it's so vital that women remain women and men remain men. And I think that sometimes, even though we're somewhat independent, women still want a guy to do guy things, and we still want to be feminine. We still want the guy to be our protector, and I think he is really about that, because so much. We're in business. I'm in business, and I tend to be a little bit more dominating, maybe, and I'm not because I'm not a dominating person, but I tend to be a little bit more active, and like you said. And men really don't, they want a softer side of a woman. They really do. So let's go on to what they were saying here. We're going to run out of time, but Bruce Starr will be on here shortly, and I love him to death. Where were we at here? Person getting married or not, okay, but at this age, most people want to be with someone without following the traditional path of marriage and family. It says how are these singles finding each other, which I thought was very interesting. This survey found that single baby boomers are using the same methods at all age groups: friends, families, fitness classes, places of worship, church, and as well as online dating.
Hello?
And I think more and more people are turning towards online dating.
Question. No question about it.
It's a very safe, I feel, a freedom environment, because you can look and go at your own pace that you want to do. You can do it be as secure as you want to be. There's steps in which to secure yourself, of course, in anything that you do. You're no more, I feel personally, you're no more in danger than meeting somebody online than you are as meeting a stranger. When you're out, at a bar, or somebody's trying to pick you up. I had guy try to pick me up at the wine section, at the grocery store. So, how was I going to think whether he asked me for his number and I gave it to him? Then this was a ways back, but I gave him my number, and then I thought afterwards, he could be some sort of weirdo. He didn't appear to be, but so there's safety factors involved in everything we do. So we have to definitely do that.
I can't disagree. Okay, you make a very, very good point.
You're thinking about it.
It just, technology is just moving so fast. Okay, and we are the group of people in the bubble of population that I talk about that are the most responsible for where we are today. But yet, sometimes I wonder, we're the people that least understand it.
Well, that's because it is moving so quickly.
Yeah.
Every time, and I'm pretty savvy when it comes to computer stuff and whatever. I'm on all these platforms and I'm learning how to do them and this and that. But it's a challenge because it moves so quickly. As soon as I think I've got something and I understand it, bam, it changes.
Yeah.
And like the iPhone. I went and bought an iPhone, and next thing you know, another iPhone comes out. So we just got the face recognition, and I'm thinking to myself, do I really want, a phone that can read my face? What if I wake up one morning and I don't have my makeup on? Is it going to recognize me?
I don't even want to. I don't even want to think
Or is
about
she
that.
gonna send me a message and say, go put your makeup on, girl?
I don't even want to think about what that looks like. Oh.
Don't be mean to me. Anyhow, and then it goes on and it says the participants, what the ideal age and their next partner. I thought this was very interesting about the age, because again, it talks about, let's see, imagine the age and the varied between the sexes. It varies a lot between the sexes, and it's not surprising. Okay, this is what he's saying here is just not surprising. Far more men surveyed said that they would like to date a younger woman. Okay, 63% said this. Then women surveyed said they would like to date a younger man. 22%. I don't think we're surprised with that one, because that's been around for years. And while 53% of women over 50 said they'd like to date someone their own age, only 33% of men said they would like to date in their own age group. The desire to date a younger woman only grew with age for the men surveyed.
Now, see, I don't necessarily fall into that category.
Because you like us more mature women.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he's tired and he doesn't want to have to teach her.
And that's part of it. And the other thing is, you and I have talked about this, and we've made jokes about it. All right. When I have conversation with that person, whoever she may end up being, let's say I say to you, okay, Vitamita Vegemite.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's right. And that was one of my favorite shows.
Okay. But yet, if I were to get involved with someone 10, 15 years younger, why? What are you talking about? What's that? Well, that might be one of the top comedic moments in the history of television, and you don't know what it is.
But you can always bring it up on video and show her.
And then the other,
you can always do that.
The other thing about for me, someone younger, is that they're going through a stage, or they're going through that where, something in their lives where they think being with an older man is great. And then one morning I'm getting ready to get out of bed, and there she is throwing clothes into a suitcase. And I'm, whoa, hon, where are you going?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's
exactly it. See ya, pops. Okay.
That's, you know what, and that is so true. But you run that risk.
The novelty wears off, and it's not fun anymore.
I mean, I have a beautiful friend, and he's older, and I think he's handsome as all get out. He's much older, and he had a younger woman, and that's exactly what happened to him.
Yeah.
And he said he was just blown away by, the sex and the, how beautiful she was and all of that, and thought it was going to last forever.
And then, poof.
Yeah. And then it blew up, and he was just destroyed, and it's sad. It really is sad. But the thing is we hope that if you fall in love, you stay.
More important for me personally is I'm someone that's in tune with what it takes to make a quality relationship. Believe it or not, all the jokes I make, and her and I going back and forth, I'm in tune with what makes a quality relationship. And at the top of that is communication.
Yes.
Much more than anything else, it's how do you communicate? Not that you have it, but how.
Because he's prepared to be on that rocker.
Okay. And I, on an intellectual level, which I think intelligence is sexy as can be, all right, that I can have a level of conversation with that person that's on the same level of me. That matters more to me than absolutely anything else. We can make the sex great, okay? We can buy products at the drugstore to make the sex great, okay? But the day-to-day life, can we communicate? How do we communicate? And being on the same intellect, even someone smarter. You're smarter than me. That's awesome. And you want me in your life knowing that you're smarter than I am? I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you're in that area where the men are not looking for a younger woman. You're looking for quality.
I'm looking for an equal.
Yeah.
An
Well,
equal.
you're looking at the quality of the relationship, and so for you, in order to have a quality of the relationship, it's communication.
Now you got me all hot.
It's
You got me all hot
communication.
now.
It's blending of what your values and your core values of life is, and things like that. And that is what's going to make a solid relationship. So when a man dates, or when a woman dates, well, I think it's separate. When a man dates a younger woman, it's more of an ego booster for him. You know, I feel it's not. He's not coming together
He's
with
dealing
her.
with the physical part of it.
Right.
Yes.
And it also inflates his ego. Okay, here I am. I'm not old. He doesn't want to say, you know what, I'm aging, and unfortunately a lot of the women, older women, are looking to, like my dad and I just had this conversation today. And he said to me, like when my mom died, he said, I didn't go out and be with someone else because all the other women that were in my age, they just weren't appealing to me. Because he saw my mother like the day he married her. He always thought of my mother, and I do the same thing. I think of my mother when she was like 35 years old. I never think about her being older. So he's envisioned her through all these years of really never changing, you know? And so now, you know, when we're talking about we're talking about relationships and building relationships. A lot of men are seeking younger women really for validation of themselves, of not being old, you know, not getting there, that they still got it, you know. And of course, maybe it might be fun, but it's not going to last. Now, women, on the other hand, I think we date men that are younger because we still have it going on. And we're not, even though maybe our bodies are changing and things are changing around us, we still have, some of us are still, you know, like I'm very active, you know, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and things like that. And so we want someone that can keep up with us, you know?
Okay.
And so I think we date men for that. And we also date them for good sex. I mean, because a lot of us women still want good sex.
And that's a key element. And here's what I say. Here's what I say to that.
Thank God for the blue pill.
Yeah. That's all well and good. But there comes a point, and this is in any relationship, any age group, okay, the physical part of it, the physical stimulation part of it, eventually will wear off.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and where there's no longer the like clawing at each other to get in bed, okay? And then what's left?
Right. Well, it's the same with the women dating younger men. It's going to be the same scenario with the men dating younger. And thing is, at the end of the day, when all of that other stuff goes aside and you no longer can, you know, do all the really active stuff, and your age is really starting to come to you. What happens is, if you don't have that compatibility, that communication, you are going to be in trouble. You are. And so
just natural aging. Okay, your libido is going to calm down. It's not going to be the raging fury.
Yeah, I think we got that. I think we understand that.
And it's then becomes, okay, well, here I am in this relationship with this woman, and okay, the sex is fine, the sex is great, but there's no other kind of stimulation.
Right.
Okay, she's getting on my nerves. Okay, if it wasn't for
that feeling.
Okay, if it wasn't for the sex part of it, and even that at some point, even further down the road is, okay, the sex is great now, but enough of this, enough. I can't do it anymore.
Back to the article. The article, what they were trying to get across was that our relationships are changing, and that what we had thought in the past, that we had to be married. We had to have that type of partner. It's evolving into a choice, and that we can be with someone and still honor and respect and have value with that relationship.
Yeah.
That we don't necessarily have to be married in order to achieve that. But I'm not saying that marriage is bad, so I certainly don't want anyone out there thinking that you shouldn't be married. And maybe in their own religious belief, in the eyes of God or whatever, I totally understand that. And so you have to do what's right for you, how you feel. But I will say that in today's age and what's happening right now, there's a shift that's taking place, and that the over 50, over 55, and I think 55, 60, going in 70, that kind of route, they're looking towards a different way of building a relationship. They're looking at a different way of having a relationship. So what I want to ask you guys, and this is what I think is so important, is that you need to think about what kind of relationship it is that you're looking for. And can you adapt yourself to maybe the ways of the future and what's happening and what's taking place? And so don't shut yourself down, to having a relationship, but keep yourself open to maybe what's new and what's out there. But most of all, do what's right for you. If you feel like you must be married, if you feel a certain way about something, then share that with the person you love. And if they love you, you'll be able to work it out.
Spend a little quiet time with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And
figure out what is important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are your priorities? And if you want to turn it into a checklist, so be it. Okay? The important thing is what matters the most to you. And once you figure all of that out, it makes the search go easier. There's people that you can eliminate right away because they just don't fit. Okay? They don't fit what you've decided is important to you. You just push, thank you, but no thank you. And we're at an age or a stage in our lives where that's a lot easier to do. And I say that because we've had all of this experience getting here. When we were in our 20s or maybe our early 30s, it was all physical. Okay? Whatever I saw that lit me up, got me excited, that has to be the one. Never thinking for a minute, that our differences would ever be an issue. I love you, you love me. We're going to live happily ever after.
But I think
and guess
older,
what?
Guess what? Yeah, but you have the factors of life that gets in the way too. And so it's not just all about that, as you're traveling.
Well, we learn, those of us that possess a level of intelligence, we learn that the physical part isn't the overriding.
It's like you're trying to convince yourself.
I am convinced.
He's saying it over and over again because I think he's trying to convince himself that it really is not that important. Honestly, I swear, across my heart, it's not important. But okay, what I'm trying to get across in this particular article and this particular show is that you have the freedom to do what you want to do. You have the choices to do what you want to do. And so as you're traveling through that transition of dating and you're out there selecting, you're out there going out on dates, you're doing whatever, keep in mind that there's nothing written in stone of what your relationship has to be like. And so often we look at our past and we say, okay, we have to have this, cookie cutter type of relationship. And so what this article says and how I feel is that that's not the case anymore.
No.
And so we can blend and we can have the relationship that we choose that's going to work for us and be, we can still honor and respect. We can still believe in God or whatever your higher power is. We can do all the things that you did before, but it's putting together what works for you. And so I think that's what's important. And I think this show is very valuable because I know myself personally, I struggled with what my new single life was going to be. You know, I kept thinking, I cannot believe I'm at this place here in my life that I'm divorced, that I'm single, and then I have to try to now start dating.
Okay.
And that transition that I went through was a huge struggle for me. But now I'm starting to understand that I have a choice. I can have a relationship however I choose. You know?
And yet I never went through any of that.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, okay, this one's done. I'm moving on to the next.
Yeah.
And okay, it hasn't happened yet, but it could have several different times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any self-esteem issues. I don't have any self-confidence issues. It's nothing like that.
Well, I think I think your relationship, the demise of your relationship was very different.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in factor. Your demise of your relationship had nothing to do with you as a person.
No.
It had to do with other things. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, the demise of my relationship was totally different. And so I think we have those personal struggles that we deal with ourselves and that we have to sort out. But what I'm saying is that me as a woman, I continue to look back towards my parents who were married for many, many years, probably would still be married today had my mom not died, got cancer and died. But the fact was, is I kept thinking of that traditional relationship, but myself was not comfortable with it because of what's happened in my past.
Right.
And so now that I've opened my door to think that, hey, I can have a different type of relationship that can be equally as satisfying and as good and as loyal and as committed, but I can just have it a different way. I like the idea. It takes a burden of that stress off of me that I have to do something exactly the way it was done, you know?
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if anybody out there feels like that. If you do, you can email me at goingsolo@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. I'd like to hear what kind of shows you'd like to hear about and what kind of struggles you're going through. And maybe we can get a guest on that might help you with that. But we have some terrific guests that are going to be coming on with us.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Bruce Starr following us. So we're going to have to go. We're going to have to hit the road. Hit the road, Jack.
Man, just when I was getting on a roll.
We got to hit the road, Jack. Well, I'm Cece, and I'm a co-host of Boy and Girl Thing. I also have the show Going Solo with Cece, which we joined together tonight. When we talk about dating issues, I like to join them together so we can continue on. And I know that Kit doesn't like to talk a lot about the divorce recovery, which is a very passion, something that's very dear to my heart.
But the flip side is, I understand.
Yes,
I truly understand. It's I've been through it twice. So yes, I indeed understand how difficult that transformation is.
Mm-hmm.
For many people, it can feel like a death.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and
that's a whole nother show.
Yeah,
We'll do that because we got to go.
And I don't know if it's necessarily the kind of show that Cece and I want to do, because I may not be an expert in the psychological aspects of that, or you may have other people that are much better suited to have that conversation with you than I am.
Absolutely. And
I'm all about let's go forward.
Yeah, I mean, next week I'm going to have this great attorney on. He's a man's attorney. He specializes in divorce for men and how to help move them through. So that's going to be very enlightening indeed. So I'm looking forward to that show. So we will be back here, same place, same time.
Same bat channel, same bat time.
On WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are the Singles Network, and we enjoy that. So we are building a singles community.
Like us, share us, and tell your friends.
Absolutely.
This is the place to be.
All right, bye for now. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Bye.
Good night.